Broadcasting from Baltimore, Maryland, this is 5x3 Radio, where strength is for everyone. I'm your host, Emily Sokolinski, owner of 5x3 Training, a strength and conditioning gym in Baltimore, along with my co-host, Rebecca Fishburne, founder of Cornerstone Strength Maryland. Each week, Rebecca and I will discuss the ins and outs of strength training, why there is a no one-size-fits-all approach, and why strength is so important in our daily lives. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Now, on with the show. All right. Hi, everybody. And we are back with another 5x3 Radio podcast. As always, with me is my co-host, Rebecca. And we have two very special guests on this afternoon. I'm saying afternoon because it is Saturday. And with us are two strong women, two 5x3 members. Actually, Laurie is sad, tear, leaving us soon to move to Vermont. She and her husband are moving up to Vermont. So that's exciting news for them, embarking on a new journey. But we have two strong women here, Laurie Pagano and Jen Satterwhite. And they are, I've known these ladies for a number of years already. Laurie's been with us, 2014, 2013?
I looked it up and it was 2014. 2014.
And Jen, we've known you since you started doing our contests, and we're going back to, was it 14, 15?
17.
17. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 17. I feel like I feel like I've seen you at every event, for the past how many years. So we have ladies on today because we want to talk to them about Strongwoman, meaning our Strongwoman contest. We've got our contest that's just opened up. Registration is just open for our 11th annual Strongwoman contest. And we thought it would be nice to have these two on the podcast to talk a little bit about their background, how they got involved in strength training, and how that led them to discovering Strongwoman and participating in Strongwoman contests, not just in our contest, the Charm City Strongwoman contest, but other contests that have popped up over the years in various states. So I'd like to turn it over to either Jen or Laurie, if who wants to start first. Jen. You can't see this, but Laurie pointed to Jen. So Jen, if you want to introduce yourself, give us a little bit of background about who you are and tell us a little bit about how you got involved in Strongwoman.
Sure. Jen, I am 41 years old, and I was an athlete growing up, but I only did like dance and swimming. So I had the muscular shoulder look thing going on. Everybody always thought I lifted weights, but I'd never touched a weight. I am from the South. Girls didn't do that. So it took until I was going through a divorce and I was very, very angry at the world for me to get off the treadmill and look at lifting heavy things because I needed to get my anger out. And, I started working with one of your coaches, Craig, back in 2013.
Wow.
And back then it was just how to get the anger out, how to literally make myself wobbly when I leave the gym. And I didn't actually start any sort of competing or CrossFit type stuff or Strongwoman stuff until 2017 was like the turning event. I'd finally gotten as lean as like I could physically get, and I was still not happy. Mm-hmm. And Craig took me to a CrossFit event to watch a friend compete, and I'd never seen that before in person. And it was such an overwhelming feeling. I felt all the feelings of, oh my God, this is amazing. I can do this. Like watching the person, perform in front of me, I help, like just supporting them and being there and pushing them further just made me realize that's something I wanted to do. I wanted to be a part of. And then Craig suggested the Strongwoman competition, and that scared the bejesus out of me. And to this day, it still scares me, but I love it. I absolutely love it because it puts me in a really hard place. Yeah. It challenges me and it makes me a better person on a daily basis. So
yeah.
How did you? So, go ahead.
Was that the first competition that you did? Like, I think it was it 2015 or 16 or something like that? That was the first Strongwoman competition you did?
17.
17 was the first one I'd done. Yes.
And like, you watched the CrossFit and did you do that before, or you jumped right in with Strongwoman?
I competed and I think won one Festivus prior to signing on for Strongwoman, that first one. And I'd never flipped tires. I had never had a barbell above my head before. Like, all of this stuff was just amazing. And the fact that I could do it, and oh my God, Festivus, I placed second to someone who I didn't know at the time, but now, oh my gosh, she's an amazing woman. And I'm so proud that we both did it for the first time and we both made the blocks. Oh my gosh. It just pushed me forward. And then the positivity that comes from it is amazing.
Absolutely. I want to go back a little bit, if you don't mind, to how you met Craig. How did you get involved with Craig?
I lived down near Annapolis, and at the time it was a branded gym that was moving into another brand, and it was like this transition month. And I walked in, and I used to go to the gym with my mother every day. It was like, pushing ourselves, at least do 15 minutes, because 15 minutes is, getting out, sweating every day. We're just trying to lose weight and do that normal thing that women do to make themselves feel better.
I like that, because it's so true. My God, I mean, we could, that's a whole other subject in itself, that we could talk about. So sorry. Yes.
Yeah. But I walked over to one of the guys there, and he started asking me about myself and what I like doing. And I told him that, I'm one of those people that push myself harder, and I judge myself harder than probably anyone else. And I'm not saying nobody else does that, but like than the normal everyday gym people, right. Like I like to kill myself because that's how I feel better. That's a whole nother subject as well. But he literally turned and was like, "You should talk to that guy." He was like, "You'll be fine with me, but you'll do better with him."
That's awesome.
I think we sat on the bench and had a couple of conversations. Yeah. And from then on, he's been that person to tell me like it is. Like,
yeah. Was that DB?
Was that Big Vanilla?
Big Vanilla. Yep.
Yeah.
And it changed over to the YMCA. Yep.
Yeah. And then I met you and flipped tires with you over at Dauntless. That was the first time I flipped tires. That was fun.
Yeah. Like I literally just followed Craig through different gyms, like as he processed, Rebecca, it was wonderful. We came and we talked, and it was a really cool day of meeting another person who pushes themselves hard, and to find the positives to it.
It's interesting that you talk about finding strength training through kind of trying to get your anger out for a lot of the crap that was going on in your life. And I was talking to Jay, one of our coaches, about when I lift better when I'm mad at something or someone. Yes. And Jay says, studies have shown that when you're happier, that's when you really, your true strength. I said, Jay, you're so wrong. I said, have you seen my t-shirts? Anger keeps me warm. And I said, I do so much better when I'm upset.
I want to flip tires and slam balls and stuff like that.
I don't know. Why would I be happy to do those things?
Focusing under a heavy bar is not something that makes me feel better when I'm mad.
No, like Craig used to hold up the boxing glove and be like, "That's your ex face. Let's go."
Channel that inner strong woman. Channel that inner woman who you didn't realize existed until that moment, until that time. Yeah, it's almost like a fight between yourself, and then all of a sudden that comes out. For me, strength training wasn't about being angry, but I definitely have used it. It definitely helps so much when I find I have bad days or I'm really upset with, the world. And yeah, everything's better once I've deadlifted.
So wait, as long as we're talking about like all the feels. Like the other thing you talked about was like how encouraging and how positive it felt when you were at the Festivus meet and like at the Strongwoman competitions.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess your background in dance and swimming, I would imagine there'd be like a similarly positive, encouraging sense of camaraderie in a swim meet maybe. But I mean, like listening to Emily talk, maybe not so much with dance. But you know, how does that compare with your previous experiences?
So swimming and dance are all based upon your weights and how fast, how fast you can move through the water, and, whether you can maintain the lines and your balance and your turns. And I was always clumsy. I was always the one that did the leaps into the curtains across the stage. So I've always been like mediocre at sports. And so it was always a competition. It was always, I could never be good because there was always someone better than me, and I was always judging myself. And don't get me wrong, I still judge myself all the time. But now it's given me a path. I have a path to find the positives. Like I can get there. It's attainable. And now, instead of there being like a competitive edge to everything I do, and we're all against each other, like it wasn't dance and it wasn't swimming, now everybody's like cheering me on, and I'm cheering others on. And I mean, yeah, I still compare myself against what they can do, but I'm still backing them up. And it's amazing to see people reach their goals. That is such a much more positive environment than dance ever was.
It's as a dancer, as a former dancer too, right? It's when you're dancing, there's no kind of you, right? There's always, you're with a group, and there can be that camaraderie or there can be that animosity. Whereas with Strongwoman, it's just you. You're amongst 50 other women, but you're not on a team, right? Even if you are come from a gym and you're on a team, there is that feeling though you're all there as one. There is not one who is ahead of the other one. You're all there as one, and we see that with all the women who come as like a group, and then definitely the ones who are individual, who are by themselves. It is just them, and that is the best thing. That is so far different than dance. You're absolutely right, because the only person that you're competing against is honestly yourself. You can compare yourself, and you can want to be like, I really want to be like her. I wish I had that deadlift, or I wish I had that, but at the end of the day, it's just you that you're really having to worry about. And everyone's there for you, and then for the other 49 people who are there as well. Yeah, dance is not that. Dance is not, there is not.
I mean, like, it doesn't seem that way from Dance Moms, but that's probably not very impressive.
Dance Moms don't watch that. So Laurie, we've heard Jen's story, and we're going to be coming back to her once we start, delving more into Strongwomen. But give us an idea of your background, how you got started, how you came to 5x3. I know you came as a way of Maritza. Maritza started with us first and introduced you to us, but your background before you even joined our crew.
Actually, what's funny is I don't even think I did come to you through Maritza. I think
really?
that was just a coincidence. Because the gym was right across the street from my office, which was also her office. So I think it was just happened to be convenient for both of us. But I was never, I'm Laurie. I'm 36. Just because Jen gave her age.
Laurie's the baby of the group here, everybody.
I was never athletic. I never pushed myself. I did not care, never active. In high school, if we ran laps in gym, I would hide behind a tree and let everybody lap me and then pick it up later.
That's brilliant.
But then I met my husband, and his parents are runners, and I wanted them to like me. So I started running, and some of the training schedules actually ran for a few years, and I ran a half marathon, and I completed a full marathon. Wouldn't say I ran it, but for both of those off days, training schedules tend to give strength training as like your off days, I guess.
Right.
So, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was a member of a certain gym that is not known for being friendly to lifting weights. So I did what I could.
Now I need to know what this gym is.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
You can sign it or write it on a
I'll
piece of
tell you later.
paper.
Is it like a gym with a no lunk zone?
Okay. There you go.
I didn't know what I was doing. I eventually went to the YMCA, which had barbells, and had even less of an idea of what I was doing. So I found a basic strength program that was just a squat, deadlift, bench, press. And I was like, oh, I can do 4 things. I know how to do 4 things. And so I started. And then eventually I was just hitting my head against the wall and started looking for a gym dedicated to strength, and found 5x3. Like I said, it was right across the street from my office, which was absolutely convenient. And then I think at the time you were opening exactly at the time I got off work. So it was meant to be. And that was at about, that was in May of 2014.
Okay.
And I had been going to the Y really, really early on Saturday mornings with a regular crowd of the type of people who get up really, really early on Saturday mornings. And it was all a bunch of men who were very supportive of me. And I was talking to one of them. I was like, I just joined another gym that I'm going to on the weeknights, and they're having a Strongwoman contest. But like, I just started and I don't know if I should do it. It's really scary. And he was like, you should totally do it. And so I did. That was it. It was all over from there.
So could you, our gym was so nondescript back then at the time. Did you, I mean, I don't know if we're on Google yet. Did you Google us? And Maritza was there.
No idea.
Maritza was there already. Wasn't she?
She was.
I swear.
I remember being surprised that she went.
Oh, I see. In my brain,
after.
I've all these years I've been thinking, oh yeah, Maritza started, and then she brought Laurie, and you just happened to be. Well,
I had started that job, insisting to myself that I was going to be purely professional and I wasn't going to make friends at work, and I was going to leave my work life and my personal life separate. And then Maritza came and ruined all of that, all of it. So, I'm pretty sure I must have just Googled you or something.
Find us. Yeah. So you came in. So yeah, I mean, we're going on 11 years now. So my brain does not remember like everything, every little detail, as much as people are like, oh my God, how do you remember my weights so well? I don't remember things that happened, 5 years ago. I remember things that happened yesterday. You started in 2014, and our contest was, I guess it was in September of 14.
Yeah,
right?
It was only a couple of months after I started.
We had a big group that year. I remember because we had that picture. We weren't wearing the T-shirts yet.
That was, I think, the last year.
That was it, right? You made your own
before
shirts.
you got which I still have.
Yeah, everybody has their shirts. Excellently. So nice. I love it. Short and sweet, like to the point of I started lifting weights and here I am. So now that we're talking about Strongwoman, give us, and neither one of you can start this, but give us an idea of your training. Like how did your first contest that you competed in? So Laurie was 14 and Jenna was 17. What has changed since that? How did you start for the first contest? How did you train for that? And how different has it been? I mean, this is very broad now, and Rebecca, please jump in. But how is it different? How has your training changed since that first time to this time? And kind of in between, what has possessed you to keep coming back every year to do the contest? This is like 2 questions in one.
First of all, what does your training look like?
Right.
And then secondly, how has it changed?
Yeah.
Over time.
So either one of you can start first. And you can go back to I had no idea what I was doing the first time around. I just jumped in feet first.
I mean, if I started in May and we would have started training in July, August.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had friends there yet to goad me into training.
Maritza.
I don't know.
Reason did
Well,
it.
yes. I don't remember what we would have done
Oh my God.
separately.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember what we were doing that year. We did that wheelbarrow medley.
Yeah.
That was insane. That was the chain, carry the plates, carry the kettlebell, carry the sandbag into the wheelbarrow. And I got run over that year. Yeah. That was the year I got run over.
Yeah.
So I guess you don't remember what you did. I'm sure we just trained. We'll talk about like what you have typically will do to train up for an event.
I definitely was still getting my barbell legs, right. I guess, trying to work my way around strength training in general. But as far as Strongwoman specific, I do not remember what I would have done that early in my game.
I can't remember either. I'm sure we just practiced some of the events with you, mostly. Jen, what about you with Craig when your first year in 2017?
Oh man, that first year it changed my life. I had never touched a log before, and it was terrifying. At that time, I'd only done just barbell work. I had never worked with axles, any of the tools. And so Craig brought in this log and was like, we're going to do this. And the fact that it starts out at 70 pounds, like blew my mind. Like there was no work up to it. It was, you can do it or you can't. And I can tell you that once the events were announced for my first Strongwoman, that's all we did. Like we changed my training from the CrossFit style, AMRAP to just working on the Strongwoman stuff. And I remember being covered in more bruises than I have ever been in my life. The log with the black bruises down the forearms. And, oh man, I remember like I hit my toe with a stone and all of the firsts of just, I don't know if I can cuss, but I was cussing more than I'd ever cussed.
Oh yeah, I know you can cuss on the show. Yeah.
What am I getting myself into? But at the same time, like it was terrifying, but I was able to do it. And it became this challenge, I don't know if you want to go into the first one, but like my first Strongman event for you was
go into it
was the cobblestone log. And I remember doing the log lift that it was like presses, however many presses. And I think it was like only 95 pounds, but it scared the living bejesus out of me at the beginner level. And it was cobblestone and it was sideways. So it was like my left side was lower than my right side. And I just remember freaking out, like, I'm going to drop the log. I'm going to drop the log the whole time. And it was amazing because I can look back on it now and be like, oh man, first year Strongman is scary.
And you don't get that I never have talked to anybody about what their emotions were like during that, the day.
Really?
All you hear at the end is like, this was so wonderful. I love you. Thank you so much for doing this. Yeah. You don't hear that.
Petrified. I had never pulled a truck.
You both said that it was like frightening, but you've done it multiple times. So it's
every time it never gets easier.
No.
You get just as scared each time, just as freaked out beforehand.
I had never actually pulled a truck until that day.
Oh.
Because we always pulled the sled.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a truck to play with. So going into that event that day, I was terrified about the log. I was terrified about the truck. Like the whole day, I'm like having panic attacks. And between every event, trying to shovel food in my face, panic attacks. But at the end of the day, it was like
I did it.
I survived. I did it. Like, this is really cool.
And I tell people, it's crazy. It's like, it's a 6 hour day and it's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes because it's 5 events and each one is 1 minute. And yet it's 6 hours long. So you're like, you finish your event and you're like, oh my God, okay, the next one's coming up. Okay. Now what do I do?
So So wait, Laurie, you're nodding your head when Jen's talking like that. Do you have a similar level of like absolute panic attacks about like the events, or like more manageable? I mean, yeah, I stopped.
I'm nodding my head,
because
yes.
I'm small, because I didn't like feeling that way.
I mean, anxiety is kind of like my baseline anyway. But
that's how we get along, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my husband would drive me there. He would sort of be my photographer every year, and I was just silent. I would not speak to him. I wouldn't look at him. I wouldn't do anything but just like breathe and try not to freak out the whole way down. And like, we don't live close, so it's like a 30-minute 40-minute drive, depending on which location we were at. Absolutely silent. I wanted to eat, but I didn't want to eat, but I had to eat, but I didn't know what to eat. And I had like a list of like safe foods that I know I can eat before I lift weights, and a whole bag full of snacks. And I'm like, I've got peanut M&Ms because they've got some sugar, but a little bit of protein. And I've got Skittles because I know I can handle them, but I can't have this much sugar. So I also, and it's just
I had no idea she was doing this.
Constant.
This is what was going on.
Oh yeah.
I just give her a program. We could set her loose. And it's up to them what the hell they come to it. I feel like for your first contest, it was so quick, it was so close. You probably were like, just do it. And then the next ones after that have been a little bit more like the anxiety level has risen with Laurie, because especially since we moved her into the middleweight open, which I think, Jen, did you start with middleweight novice when you first started the contest? Yeah. So both, and that's why I wanted to have you both on, because you actually both started with novice and then eventually transitioned to open because you just kept getting stronger. So the weights were like, this is not really that exciting. It's not as much of a, what's the word I'm looking for? These weights aren't competitive enough for me. Yeah. So they both bumped up to middleweight open. How did that change once you went from novice to open? Laurie's laughing.
I was always novice for life. It was going to be novice for life.
Not on my watch.
Accidentally went into open. I mean, I like having fun with my friends. I like the energy of the day. I like the cause. Despite everything I just said about being so anxious about it, I do enjoy it. I enjoy having done it, I'll say. And I guess, like you were saying earlier, it changed the weights, but it's still just me challenging. Like, I'm not competitive. I'm not trying to get on a podium.
Yeah.
But I do want to prove to myself that I can do things at all, if not excel at them. So it changed the weights, and it was scary to feel like it was different, but it really wasn't. It was still just me competing against me.
Mm-hmm. And the weights still moved. The weights still went up every time.
They sure did. Well, most of them did.
Well, we won't talk about, Jesse's still having PTSD over the hoist event from last year.
So am I.
I think we all are. Jen, how about you? Moving from middleweight novice to open, I feel like that was yours and Craig's decision, or maybe your decision. I remember kind of giving you the choice, like, hey, you could do novice, you could do open, look at the weights. Because me personally, I'm like, Jen, she's strong enough. You just bump her to the open now, quickly. This is too late for her.
So I challenge myself all the time. I can never be stagnant, and I hate that. I really wish I could just be still and steady and not like kill myself. But every time I get into a place where I'm stagnant, I'm bored. And so then I do end up making the decision. I think I always sign up at like, novice or intermediate, whatever. And then I always end up like, all right, fine. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it, because if I don't do this, I'm not going to feel good about my performance, because if you don't challenge yourself to grow, you're not growing, like mentally, physically. And it's hard. I mean, to be honest, I'm super competitive, and to do the events and struggle and to go, you know what, I could have done better if I'd done this, and this, but wait, stop. And then see how everybody else is doing below me. Then like, man, I could have been better. I could have been late. You know, I do that all the time to myself, and I hate that, but I love that there's the constant challenge, the constant mental growth.
Yeah. Nothing's wrong with a challenge. I think Kelly's, I mean, I don't know if I can speak for Kelly. Laurie knows her well too, but Kelly's like that. Kelly likes a challenge. I mean, I find her, and Laurie knows, we find ourselves saying to her, come on, Kelly, challenge your inner Kelly. Because Kelly will like go to the end. I mean, she will not stop until that timer goes off, right? She'll push herself. She knows how to push herself. We've always like tried to push Laurie, like, come on, Laurie, a little more. Laurie's like, nah, good.
I do things until I'm done doing them.
Exactly. It's very interesting to train the women at our gym who decide to enter how to push them in the right way, without discouraging them or frustrating them, or but I don't think that ever happens. Everybody kind of just, they find their own way, they kind of all train to their own beat. It's almost like, I know you can do it. You're like, yeah, but I'm good. Kelly's going to sign up for middleweight novice this year.
Diego is getting me already. I've only been going to 5x3, but on a regular basis as a member for the past month now.
Right.
And Diego, all he has to do is walk up and be like, bet you can't reach the top of the rope. Bet you can't jump rope.
There's Jen climbing the rope.
Can't do that. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to talk to him about that.
No, it's okay. You can leave it. It's good. It's good for me. Just like open. It's good for me.
It's good. Over the years that you guys have been doing the contest, does any year stick out for you as a year that was like that was a good year, or that was a year that was harder, like just training wise, or mentally, you felt like you were in the right place, but maybe you weren't. I mean, just kind of, I'm wondering if every contest, because every contest is different, all the events are different. Do any of the events stick out like that was a great year? Like that was a year where I liked those events, and these events were the ones that were a little harder for me. And maybe talk a little bit about which events challenge you the most, or give you that you have to work a little bit harder for. Like I know with Kelly, the pressing events have come a long way. She's really worked hard on that, because that seemed to always be kind of the nemesis with those long arms. Can you think of any contests? Maybe talk a little bit about some of the events that you've done over the years to give people a sense of, what kind of events we're talking about. You mentioned the truck pull, you mentioned the log.
I really like the press medleys. Mm-hmm. Those have been fun, like with the axle, the thicker barbell. Those have been fun because I don't normally get to play with them.
Right.
I would say the things that challenge me are the things that leave bruises.
People go, and what were you doing last night?
Bruises. Well, people think I'm abused.
Oh, yeah.
I'm proud of my arms. I like to wear sleeveless shirts, and everybody's like, oh my God, are you okay? So, the log scares me, but it's good. The Atlas stone, that's also another one. And I've really enjoyed trying to get that heavy ass ball up my body to my shoulder. It's a wonderful challenge because it's not something we do, but it is a functional movement that we should all be doing. And I hated the duck walk.
Oh,
and to see it coming back.
Yeah. Well, this one is different. Just ask Laurie. She tested it out, and to be fair, she tested it with heavier weight than I put on for Kelly. By the way,
I did notice that when it made its way to the internet, it had less weight on it than when I did it.
We took off the 35s and put 25s on. Sorry.
Well, it was funny because I also hate the duck walk, and immediately before trying it, Diego and I had a conversation about how it's different because it sits differently against your thighs, and so it doesn't like get in the way in the same ways as the other duck walk. And even though we had that conversation, I approached it and I tried the exact same way and I expected the exact same feeling.
You would have been different if
Totally
we had 25s on. It made it go a little higher. we had 35s on.
I want to try it again.
We will try it. Well, when you come back, you'll try it.
Laurie, what are your favorite events then? Or the ones that are most challenging or exciting because they're challenging?
I tend to like the ones that are spectacle. Like circus dumbbells, spectacle, truck pull, spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
The log press is kind of a spectacle. I do like the pressing events. I don't know why. I'm not a particularly good overhead presser, but I tend to have a lot of success in the pressing events.
Do you like the spectacle ones because your husband is there as your photographer and they make good memories and photographs later? That's
Yes, actually, I go back and I re-review all of my photos and videos, and it's great because you can get a feel for the energy.
Yeah,
like we were talking about, and you can like hear the events next to you. You can hear people cheer for yourself. You can see the thing that you didn't think you could do and watch yourself do it. So yeah, I keep all of those pictures and videos, and he does a good job.
I'm all about the videos. I'm all about the videos and the pictures. Any contests I've done, I have a certain outfit you got to wear. You got to have, and it's badass looking. That's what it is. It's like, it's all about the videos because you're like, you put that up, you're like, I just did that. Mm-hmm. Can you carry an Atlas stone? No, I don't think so. Yeah, there's something different. I always think of it as it's something different that not many people would ever want to do. And that's what I like about it. It's like, why would you want to pick up that stone and put it over that bar as many times as you can? Because you can't. Or because you won't in your life. But I want to. I want to challenge myself. Yeah. So I think I agree with you, Jen. It's a different way to challenge yourself and to, exhibit strength in a much different way than dancing or any kind of sport. And I like the spectacle too, that you were saying, Laurie. Yeah. Especially like carry medleys, any kind of medley.
Least favorite.
We did most
favorite. Challenging.
Well,
what about most challenging, most dreaded?
Grip.
The which?
Anything related to grip.
Yes, for Laurie.
Anything
yeah, definitely.
that's like reps or 4 times. Like I can pick something up, fine. Ask me to do something for a minute, and I will probably do it for 45 seconds.
That's the grip. That's what's okay. Yes, I want to talk about grip because going back to the duck walk, it's not. We have to be very mindful. Like we think about the grip events because we were going to do in 2020 when we had a very small contest. We were going to do the grip event with that the block because we have a couple different grip implements. We have the Rolling Thunder, we have the little nub, and we have a block. We were going to do the block, but small hands can't hold a block. So if you can't have an event that like half people can't even there's no way they're going to get their hand around it, how much fun is that? So trying to figure out various picking an event that you want some people are going to have a hard time with it, others are going to have an easier time, but you don't want an event that no one can get. That is tricky. That's a tricky event, and that's why we switched that one out to the nub, which was easier, an easier event for people. So I don't know if we'll ever use the block because that's just it's a wide implement and small hands. You want to challenge your grip. You just don't want to completely make the person feel like, well, so much for my small hands. But
and do you have ones that you don't like? Or that are your least favorite?
I mean, I would agree the grip sucks because it's very hard to work it and make it better.
You got to train it. You got to be mindful how much you train it too. It's a balancing act with the grip.
Yeah. I remember for one of the festivals, they had the hang. The hang was the grip.
Oof.
And, the calluses already hurt from all of the other work that you're doing. And then you're hanging on top of it and you just want to cry. I actually really liked the Viking press.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first experience with, I don't technically do a lot of stuff right now. I have other priorities right now in my life, but so I'll do the Strong Woman once a year. And it was my first attempt ever doing that. And it was really cool. And now we've incorporated that into my training because I enjoy it so much.
That's when I saw you when you came out up to the gym last year to try it out.
Yeah.
That's when I was watching you. That's when I said, can you please move to open? Like you blew past the middleweight novice weight. I was like, yeah, you're moving to open. And you were like, oh, well,
you have to.
You have to. Press. How many reps was that, Jen? I don't know, 15. So that's what it was. That's what I was like, yeah, you're moving to open because you just blew past the middleweight novice weight. So obviously you can't do that weight because it wasn't challenging enough. I mean, that's the thing. It's like this happens, I think, every year for you. Mm-hmm. You're like, I don't know. Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't know. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I won't be going masters anytime soon either. So
yeah, exactly. And I like that. I like how a lot of my master, I'm like, yeah, no, don't do masters. Just because you're, over 40 doesn't mean, you qualify for masters. I think the first event, actually talking about divisions, middleweight novice, masters, the first contest you did, Laurie, with us, we weren't doing, I don't think we still had divisions yet. It was fun and advanced.
Fun and advanced. And I don't remember weighing. Yeah, we must.
We weighed in. We did.
Okay.
We definitely weighed in. We did weigh-ins. We just didn't do advanced. We didn't do divisions yet. We had advanced and fun. That was the last year I did that because it was the third year in a row that we had somebody from RNL Fitness who was like, oh, I've never done Strongwoman before. And they should have been in the advanced group, but they did the fun group. Sue Canaz the first year, and then Christine Roach the second year. And then I'm blanking on the third year, but all three of them were like strong fucking women. And they were like, but I've never done Strongwoman before. So I'm going to put myself in the fun group. And then we did a log press that year in 2014. And Tracy Paffel. Tracy goes and presses the log, and it was max weight. And she pressed more than Maya Winters, who was in the amateur professional group that we had that year. And she was in the fun group. And I was like, we're going to start doing divisions. We're going to start doing them by body weight and actually have like legit divisions. Because yes, you've never done Strongwoman before, but you're clearly stronger than a novice. So having those divisions has made it, I think, a lot more fun and enjoyable and challenging, and also provided for more people to sign up, But I do remember that year, 3 years in a row from the same gym, all three women. I said, okay, this has got to stop. The RNL ladies are taking over the contest. That was the running joke. But
can I just interrupt and tell you that I love that you do the body weight? Like you do the divisions by body weight.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the best things about strongman as a sport, because I'm not trying to be the skinniest.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you can be strong at any body size. Mm-hmm. And, there's always this thing that mass moves mass. Yep. Well, that's true to a certain extent.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to be at the next lowest weight class to be the best. Like, I can compete at my own body weight. Mm-hmm. I don't have to cut. I don't have to diet. And I can just worry about the weights that I'm lifting, not the weight on my scale. And that, I think, is like the heart for me of strongman work. Like, it allows me to be me and not
pick your division else. And that middleweight division is like, I mean, it's broad because those are the women. They're all, we're all, so, and it gives direction and each division has its own little community too. Yeah. They're all working together. All the lightweights and all the middleweights and all the heavyweights are working together. And it also allows you the weights over the years, the weights have gotten heavier and the women have gotten stronger. So every year we have to bump up those weights because, the women are training and more women are training. I was laughing thinking about when you mentioned the log, Jen, earlier, when you'd never picked up a log before and it weighed 70 pounds. Our first year in 2012, we had a log press, and we had the fun group and the advanced group. And the fun group couldn't press the log. There was no log light enough for them. The heaviest log that Mike had weighed 70 or 80 pounds, or maybe it might have been 75 pounds. Well, the fun group couldn't press that. So we had a Swiss bar, and we loaded up the Swiss bar with like 55 pounds. And that's when we watched Sue like tap it and press it and tap it and press it. And we're like, okay, she's in the wrong division. Why is she in the fun group? Why is she even, she could pick it up with one hand. Mike and I looked at each other like, oh crap. But I remember watching Michelle try to clean this, Swiss bar and press it. And all the fun group women like have a hard time pressing 55 pounds. And the advanced women having a hard time pressing just the log. So it's very exciting to see now how many years later that log is now 95 pounds for my lightweight women, and 115 for the next, and 135 for the next group. The weights are so far, and still they're light enough for women of any, background to try to lift, right? To work with. So to see it change over the years for me, to be able to kind of see the weight go up, see the divisions develop, see the women coming in and how much stronger and more able they are, it's astounding, because I think back to that first year and then I think to this year and I'm like, we've come a long way. It's a true testament to just how many more women are training or strength training over the past decade that we've been kind of doing this. Yeah. Because it's funny to think back to like what the weights were when we were first starting out and what the weights are now. I'd be like, 55 pounds are like, oh my God, but that was heavy. That was heavy for people. That wasn't lightweight. I'm blanking. This is good. We could talk more about this, but I'm trying to think of like anything that you want to add that we haven't talked about, that we haven't asked you in regards to training or Strongwoman. What do you think you're going to do, Laurie, in Vermont? Are you going to look for a gym that does Strongwoman? I feel like you've done it every year since you started with us.
I know. I have every intention of building a home gym, but I don't know how quickly I'll get implements in my home gym. But it's not like I'll never return.
Yeah.
This year, it being in June, it's just a little tight with our timeline, but maybe next year in June, I can come down, because I would hate to never be in that environment again.
Yeah, I was hoping that I told Laurie if she came down, she could just pick up do whatever event she wanted to do, just for fun.
Just pick and choose.
Just for fun.
Just a quick, easy car.
Yeah, exactly. Jen, what about you? Are you going to continue with our contests each year? I don't know. I'm going to keep running them as long as people want to do them. We're coming into our fifth year for our fundraising program. Our fundraising number. So we're going to hit that number this year. And then the following contests, I'm just going to raise money. I'm not going to have a number in my mind. It's just going to be still a fundraiser for the Ulman House. But do you think you'll be joining us again this year and maybe next year even, until you have to join the Masters?
I will be joining this year, absolutely. I'd like to find a way to help encourage more people to join Strongman, because the Strongwoman competition is charity, and it's lovely, and it's wonderful to be able to help the community that we live in. And I love bringing the younger kids in and showing them what they can do, because where I grew up, we didn't have stuff like this. We didn't have accessibility to this. My daughters, they see me do it. They've been gym rats since they were kids. Maybe eventually they'll get into it. Rebecca, like, you're very lucky that your children like to lift a barbell. Mine are like, whatever, mom. But, like my niece, I've been trying to get her in, and, her eyes, they just like explode when she sees, and I, put her hands on a barbell, and I want to bring her in, and like, I just want to bring the next generation in, because I think this is so empowering for us. And it totally opens doors, not just in the gym, but in our hearts and in our minds. And it bleeds into everyday work, like just in the office, and being able to handle the positives and negatives that come at you in life. You know, we don't always have great days at the gym or in life. And it helps us balance the emotional aspects that come with it. So, you know, if there's anything I can do to help bring more people in, let me know, because I'm all there.
I think it's, I definitely, over the years, you know, obviously have seen it grow from the 21 women we had the first year, and we doubled by the next year, and we keep getting bigger and bigger. And, you know, it ebbs and flows. I mean, it's, you know, events come up that are on the same weekend. So people have to kind of prioritize, and we understand that. But we always get like the same faces, which I love. And then any new faces we get are always just, how did you find out about us? How did you hear about us? I really want to bring back, you mentioned your daughters. I really want to bring back the kids contest. Not this year, because it's just, you know, because just trying to, you know, get through this, you know, the pandemic as best we can for this year. But hopefully next year, fingers crossed, that we have returned to some semblance of quote unquote normalcy, and we have a kids contest, because that was so popular that first year we did it. It was so fun and so popular. And it is important. It's important for children to feel that their bodies are strong, not just girls, but boys too, that they can do this, and that all bodies can do this. You know, there's just, that's the important part. And I really want to have that for the kids again next year. Ladies, this was great. This is great. There's actually so much more that I want to talk to you about, but I'm looking at the time, and I want to make sure that we get people to where they need to be. But if Rebecca and I do want to have you back on, or we want to talk about something else, because you both of you brought up some good points, and Jen, I want to return to a lot of what you were talking about in regards to just the way that you've manifested this in your body, and why it's important to you now. That's a good conversation to have. We did a year ago a podcast on kind of body image, but it would be different. It wouldn't be more so a podcast on body image, but definitely strength training, and how we have viewed our bodies differently now, even while we still kind of sometimes battle with that. Yep. You know, and I think that's an important, you know, discussion to have, because we can talk about, you know, yes, strength training does this, but there's still sometimes, you know, a give and take of like what we want, what we really need, and how to kind of fit all those pieces together, how strength training really does fit into our lives, and how we can make it, work for us, and how it can work for other people. So I kind of want to come back to some of the things you talked about. Sure. Is there anything that you two want to add before we close it up today in regards to the Strongwoman contest? The registration has opened, and we are accepting registrations for all divisions. The contest is on Sunday, June 12th this year. Anything you want to add to this?
Mention again the charity.
Oh, yes. So it's the Charm City Strongwoman contest, and the charity, we've mentioned this before on the podcast and just in passing, it's for the Ulman House. They're part of the Ulman Foundation, which is a organization to support young people who have been diagnosed with cancer. And the Ulman House is a home away from home for those young adults who are in treatment at Hopkins, to have a place to stay for free while they are getting treatment. Many of the patients live, you know, hours and hours away, even, you know, a couple states away. So it's hard on them financially to come back and forth for their treatment. So the Ulman House provides them with a place to stay while they are in treatment. And we have a suite at the Ulman House in honor of Charlotte, my sister. So that's what we've been raising money for, is to support the Ulman House in their endeavor. So it's an important cause for all of us, you know, at 5x3, and definitely for all for the community and the women who have been competing with us and joining us each year. So Charm City Strongwoman Contest, Sunday, June 12th, 2022. Registration is open. I'll have a link in our podcast for those who are interested. And if you are not a woman listening to this, because we have a lot of male listeners who love the podcast, please pass this on to any woman you know who would be interested in either joining us if they're in the Baltimore area or the surrounding area. We did have somebody fly from Colorado once to compete in the contest, so they do come from outside the state, many of them. Pass it on to them. Let them know that they can support us, and you can always support us by just making a donation to the Ulman Foundation. So, anything either one of you, Jen or Laurie, want to add before we wrap up the podcast today?
Jen puts things into words much better than I do, but
You both sounded great.
I agree with everything that she said this whole time. But I'm really sad to not be doing it this year. I always say that if I never did anything I was afraid of, I would never do anything. So it's always amazing to at least have this one thing every year that I'm afraid of, that I can do, and get people actually cheering, like literally cheering for me. It's really an approachable, great way to get into this kind of thing.
I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to be competing with you.
I'm going to miss you. It's going to, you think about it now. I don't think of people. I know lives have, changed over the years. So it's very, to think about how long you've been with us and you've done all of our contests. It's going to be different to not see you up there.
Yeah. I'm going to hate it.
It's going to be strange. Jen, any closing remarks from you? I think you said you did it. The last piece that you gave, you said it was great about your daughters and getting more women involved and how you can help. So,
no. I mean, I have all the feels for strong women. It's I love the sport, and I love being a part of the group. And the day of the event is so worth it. All of those feelings that lead up to it, and the joy, and knowing that in the end it's for charity. And I work for a place that matches donations, and every year I send it in. It may take 6 months for them to send in their donation, but we live in a big city, and there are lots of big corporations, and if you can figure out how to donate with a match, it's all worth it. If you can donate and compete, come on, let's do it.
Even better. I know. Before I end, I do want to tell you that, and I think I made this announcement on the Facebook page, that Pioneer, right, General Leathercraft, the belt company that makes a bunch of other accessories too, they are one of our sponsors.
Awesome.
I emailed them and Rogue and Titan and SBD, and they actually were the ones who said, yes, we want to sponsor you, and here's $500. All the other companies were like, no, sorry, we don't have it in our budget. I'm thinking, not cool. But we won't put them against it. I won't hold it against them. I love you. I love you, Rogue. We love you. But yeah, Pioneer has said immediately, like, we would love to sponsor you. So that's pretty cool. That's that. And I'm really pleased that they're one of our sponsors. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get them to sponsor us next year. And before we close, I want to say, in regards to what you just said, Jen, about just the camaraderie and the event and how fun it is. It's not even just our event, but any strong woman contest that I've gone to, or it's usually been a strong man contest with a women's division, because that's usually how it is. The camaraderie and the engagement and the crowds are all the same. Doesn't matter. They're all the same. Kelly and I have been to a number of them together, and it's the same excitement. It's a little different because it's all women at ours, and us, we really get into it, but it's still the environment and the people who are there. Everyone's supporting everybody. I've had people, good job. I don't even know these people, and they're telling me good job, great job, that was awesome, this was great. I have no idea. I'll never see those people again. Doesn't matter. They don't know me. I don't know them. So it's kind of in general, that strong man, strong woman, community is just the same no matter where you go. I've never had a bad experience at any contest that I've gone to. they've all been great. You've done winter wreckage, Laurie, and that was fantastic. I mean, it's always just a great time, always a great time. So it's a good community to be a part of. Ladies, thank you so much. We really appreciate it, you being here, and thank you for, being flexible with your time.
Yeah, that was great to hear about all your favorite events.
Yes. Yeah, I liked hearing that. And there's the crazy dog.
It's nice to see your face, Rebecca.
Rebecca just muted herself. We often have a yappy dog that she doesn't realize is coming over, that her girls watch. And then when the yappy dog comes, she's like, we can't podcast today. Yappy dog's here. So.
This is not even the yappy dog. This
is not
is
even the yappy dog.
Protecting me from a neighbor.
No, the yappy dog is bad. The yappy dog is really bad. All right, ladies, thank you. It's been fantastic talking to you. And I would love to have you both on again. Possibly you, Laurie. I know you've got a lot of busy stuff going on, but definitely Jen, I think, we've got some topics. It'd be awesome to have you back on again to talk about some things if you're willing. It'd be great. Excellent. Ladies, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Happy training.
As always, you can find
We're happy moving.
Rebecca at, just throw out your email again.
cornerstonestrengthmaryland@gmail.com.
Or me, Emily at 5by3.com. And if you like what you hear, please hit subscribe and subscribe to us. Everybody you listen to your podcasts. I'm adding that now to the end of my shows. I got to work that a little bit better, but that's going to be our new thing. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks again. Thank you, ladies.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to 5by3 Radio with Emily and Rebecca. If you like our show and want to know more about 5by3 training, please visit us at www.5, that's F-I-V-E, the letter X, the number 3.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. To learn more about Rebecca, please visit her website, cornerstonestrengthmaryland.com. Thanks for listening and have a great week.